And there we have it. Thanks everyone for waiting for us. I could not stop with the charts. I was a little late coming in. I was wondering what Melania would look like. Yes, of course, she always looks good. We've got some good news, I think. Amber and I are good at pulling out the good news, whether you are well, there's some bad news too, but we can find it if there is good news. So we're going to be looking at the astrology charts and cards. And thank you so much for taking this time to join us. It is a busy day in Washington. It's a change because normally everybody would be freezing their butts off outside. So it's good. It's a thumbs up for the Trumps, the Trump family. What did you guys think of everybody on the dais? There were some very strained faces. Some looked like they were eating a lemon. Amber, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Good,
Glad
good.
to be.
Can you hear me okay?
I think the video that's playing the music is over.
Okay, let me see if I can just cut that out here. Um, you don't want to hear the music?
There we go. Oh, there
All
we go.
right. So, yes. So, hopefully, did you guys hear me okay? Do you think everybody heard me? I should probably
Yes.
repeat a little bit. We've got some good news today and some challenging news. We're going to look at the charts and cards. And thanks everybody for signing on. Sally, nice to see you. Now, keep in mind, your comments are important, but please keep them civil. We've got both sides on here, so we're going to do our best to relay the information that we see from the charts. Uh, Toy, you're talking about Barron. Yes. He almost reminds me of like Abraham Lincoln, the height there. So,
Yes.
put a top hat on him.
Yes.
And it is, yeah, the only thing missing is the sassy, gaudy hats. Everyone behaved in the rotunda. Yes,
Mhm.
thank you for joining us, Natalie. Gibbs, we know who Gibson likes. And let's see, Buckeye, nice to see you. Now we're not politicians, nor am I a historian. So I'm going to give you what I can see from the charts and the cards. We were looking at, if you can go back to some of our past Trump shows, I was looking at two presidencies and I couldn't believe it. I was like, he must be starting a shadow presidency. So I was a little biased there, I will admit. But the charts and the cards told us that he was going to do very well. And Gemini often means a twin presidency. But what does that mean, though? When we're talking about twins, does it mean that there are going to be twin insurrections? Does
Right.
it mean there are going to be twin types of things that we'd prefer not to have? We won't say the C word, but we'd like to know all of this. So, anyway, hopefully you can hear me now. And I'm going to keep that up for a little bit. Let me see here. I can put this up here. Oh, there. Little family drama in there with the Trumps. And before we get going, I wanted to ask you, Amber, what do you think about today? What is the card for today?
So it was interesting. I brought out my old original very first deck I ever acquired,
Okay.
and it's just the standard Rider Waite. And I pulled one card, which I don't typically do, but I got the King of Wands. It's a Leo in power, and is he a Leo? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's Cancer, Gemini. He's got some Leo as well. Yeah.
Yes, and certainly a powerful, politician type of figure. I mean, it's in the upright, it's a positive card. I liked that start to our conversation and
Yes.
viewership today. But along with that, I did have one Moonology card, which I thought was really interesting. Could be sort of viewed positive. It's the Void Moon card. Nothing will come of this. So it makes me feel like you said some positive news, like there's not disruption or discord or anything today for sure. I kind of like that. I kind of like the void.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good because we like to look at it as the presidency, not who's in the president's chair necessarily, because they don't own the government. They don't
Yeah.
own the presidency. They're
Yeah.
just renting a seat.
Yeah.
Some people don't think that that's going to be the case while Trump is in office. Will he try to stay there? But it looks like there's some interruptions between now and the next 4 years, which I wanted to talk
Mhm.
to you about. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to get right into this here. See. All right. So the Trump prediction, Inauguration Day. And oops, wait a minute. Here we go.
Yes.
And Melania wore blue again. I was interested in what she was going to wear, obviously, and I like the color choice.
Yeah.
So now, why I'm putting this up here, my book, The Secret Career Code, shows how to break down a job chart, which is essentially what we're doing today. We're looking at Donald Trump's job chart. We are also going to look at previous presidents' job charts, and some of them are kind of wild. We will take a look at that. And so I wanted to give you some good news with regard to the 1776 chart. Well, gosh, Saturn is pretty much it's got another retrograde to go. So there's going to be a little bit more fear and sadness coming in the next Saturn retrograde, but then it's out. And you are going to look at this in your own chart. Usually it's a time of fear, sadness, despair, loss. Nothing is right. Nothing is good. And it's about 7.5 years, and we're almost done this period as a country. So, yay. I am happy about that. Keeping in mind all the people we lost during COVID. It was a very, very difficult time. But the good news about Sati Sati is you get a reward. You get a reward for your patience, for pushing through, for your resilience. So everybody, I think, is going to benefit from this in some way. All right, so I'm going to say hi to those of you who just came in. Hello, KK. Nice to see you. Jan is here. Thanks to our European viewers. I know some, actually, Angel, she might have fallen asleep. I think it's like 3 or 4 a.m.
Oh,
over there. But thank you for trying to stay up with us.
yeah.
I think it's still early over there in England. Hi, hello, Melanie. Nice to see you. Melania was ravishing. She always is. Um, okay. Bianca, you said, I'm ready for something good, bad, or indifferent. Okay. Yes, Natalie, the king is in the seat right now, and we better treat him like a king. That's what he likes. Yeah, Jan, Trump's hair is a Leo mane. Melanie, he's the Leo rising, right? And so Toy, you said, I believe JD will be at number 48 before number 47 time is up, I think. I wonder how that'll look out for us. Melania is always classy. So, also interesting that the former First Lady did not show up. There was only one Obama there. What did you think about that, Amber? These are unprecedented times.
It really is interesting. And, it starts to spark rumors of divorce and things
Mhm.
that, are unsettling to hear, true or not. Yeah, I like to see her. I always like to see Michelle Obama, but,
Yeah.
assuming it's a conflict of schedule is, I think, the official statement.
Thanks, Julia, at 5 p.m. in Scotland. Yeah, I believe Melania decided to not take tea with Jill Biden. So on both sides of the aisle, there's I can't. At some point, you've got either a boundary or scheduling problem.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go into this next one. So this is kind of wild. I mean, you really have to look at all of the symbols in the sky, what we're seeing right now, and how interesting that there's fire. The fire element is just, not only is it destructive, in some ways, we're talking about California,
Yeah.
but we're also talking about the fact that the fire is burning down potentially bad things, bringing out secrets
Yeah.
like potential things that happen in California with the government, how the people were not protected. We're also seeing how the Leos are coming out, and it's like they're the main character. They're having a main character moment.
Yeah.
And so Spencer and Heidi Pratt are coming out. I mean, you couldn't get any more Leos. Look at them there.
Look at
They're
that.
posing in front of a mountain,
Yeah.
behind. I don't know if that's, if that looks like
You.
that anymore. But they've got their two sons who are twins. We always see twins with the Leos. We're going to see blondes that look alike. Since Mercury, the twin planet, moves so close to the sun, which is Leo's planet. But we also are hearing this song from 15 years ago,
Yeah.
which is superficial. And there's another song she has out too that is just everybody is supporting the fact that Spidey, Spencer Pratt, and Heidi Montag, reality stars from way back in the day, controversial to some extent. Some people liked them, some people didn't. And now they're having their moment at the same time their house burns down in LA. And
Yeah.
so Spencer Pratt is rallying the troops. They want him to become mayor. It's a talk about a phoenix. I mean, we're
Yes.
talking putting the past behind and
Yeah.
starting something completely new. But
Yeah.
interesting that the song would be superficial, very Neptunian.
Yeah.
You've got a porn star a former porn star that's in the mix with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You've got these kind of weird characters like Elon Musk. You've got just strange tech people in the wings, and then of course we've got, if you break it down, you've got that water. You're spraying water on the houses, which is Neptune. So there's a lot of Neptunian, and I think one of the lyrics for one of Heidi's popular songs now are "Whatever you want, I'll do it,"
Right.
which is kind of like a reflection of like, Donald Trump, and now everybody's like going down to kiss the ring. They don't care. He is now mainstream,
Yeah.
and if you're not with him, you're not the cool kid. But you used to be not the cool kid. It's just a complete flip. So I just saw some comparisons there.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind, bullying is big. You're seeing Spencer Pratt bullying anyone,
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, who does not support them.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of like trash talk that's going on. So,
Yeah.
for people who are not used to that Leo energy, it's just kind of crazy. And I don't know if you saw some of the people coming out in the last 48 hours in support of Trump saying some pretty nasty things. So I've got an explanation for that. So
Yeah.
before I get to that, Leo means you're always going to hear about families. Family are very important.
Right.
It's all about the family. It's about your family. It's about my family. It has to do with this is a powerful animal, very strong. You're going to see them. You're going to see Leos in the gym. You're going to see them just being powerful.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not going to be in the gym. They just want to smoke a cigarette. They need to be around that heat. There needs to be some kind of heat source.
Yeah.
The number 5 is big. If you've got somebody with a very strong fifth house, now they don't have to necessarily be Leos, but
Yeah.
the fifth house is a Leo house. That person's probably going to be pretty funny.
Yeah.
They have such a sense of humor. Poorly aspected, trying to have a sense of humor, but fail miserably. We've got the king. You're going to hear about the king. You're going to hear about names like Kingston,
Mhm.
Prince. We've got, like I said, bullying. Uh, Interesting how parks and camps come into the mix. That's a word of Leo. So you're going to hear about you know, encampments during his presidency, homeless encampments, and of course, blondes and people with a lot of hair. A lot
Yeah.
of people who have, a lot of Leo in their chart,
Yeah.
depends where it is, are hairdressers.
Huh.
So, love to be around the hair, and
Yeah.
of course, the twins.
Yeah.
All right, these are the planets that I'm going to focus on, and then I'm going to ask you for a card. Mars is a weapon. It can be a car. Mercury can also be a car, but weapon or car. Photos, video for Neptune. Pluto is murderer or rapist in
Yeah.
forensic astrology charts, and Uranus is shock, space, and tech. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then Saturn, if you're looking at a chart, if it's in a square, something is completely stopped.
Mhm.
Mercury, poorly aspected, meaning red lines going through it, square, opposition. We're talking about a thief. We're talking about a heist. And
Mhm.
then, of course, the moon is the public.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to start with this chart. This is JFK's inauguration. And before I do, I want to ask you a couple of things. Let me just see what everybody's saying first. Bianca, I have so much hair. I have a stellium in Leo. Yep, there you go. And I know. I put that out. I put that name out there for you, Jan. Thank you, Toy. Everybody hit the like button. I know only 54 today. Nobody wants to talk about Trump, and or they don't want to hear us talk about Trump.
Perhaps.
Uh, let's see. Did you see Zuckerberg's fascination with Mrs. Bezos' laced up vest? I did not. I'm gonna have to go back to the videotape for that.
Yeah.
Michelle filing divorce papers. It does not look good for them right now. I gotta say, it's going to be a tough year for them. And let's see what else here. Heist the Trump coin, maybe, possibly. So now, as we get into this, I've got some predictions for the next year, but this is going to be for 2025. Would you be able to give us some kind of indication on what 2025 is going to be like for Trump?
You know, I didn't see the slides you just shared, but two things that stood out with my astrological card. I also have Pluto and Neptune
Oh my God.
sort of as a theme. So I'm going to clarify these with a tarot card. But yeah, so Pluto and Neptune. Thought it was interesting that that stood out for you. The bottom of the deck, interesting, is the Emperor in reverse. So that is trouble. Being out of control of something, not having control over something. A lot of fast moving things. There's fast change, lots of information coming in. This is another Leo card, which I find really interesting. This is where you might put the cart before the horse in some way.
Okay.
Yeah, temperance in reverse. That's also some things being a little wonky under your feet, a little bit challenging. You're kind of walking unsteady and things are a little bit turbulent. But there's energy. There's good energy with this being in the upright. This is being able to push forward through things, but maybe not in a real controlled way with the Emperor in reverse.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what you're saying of like a fire, and
Mhm.
after things burn down, what's the ground like? It's still
Very fertile.
unstable.
It's
Yeah.
very fertile, though. What grows from burned earth is really,
Ah,
really fertile. It's not
mm,
easy, but it does
good
rebuild
point.
in a stronger way, ultimately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Natalie, maybe Mrs. Obama is over politics. I believe her
Mm.
mother recently passed away. Oh, yeah.
Oh, mm,
They say that she's up in, Martha's Vineyard.
mm,
Uh, so interesting. Yeah,
mm.
that's another great example. Leo is Blake Lively. She's Leo rising in her lawsuit, all I hear about recently. Yeah, so you're seeing Leo's rise, you're
Right.
seeing Leo's bully, you're seeing Leo's want to burn everything to the ground,
Yeah.
but it's dangerous when you get too close to the heat.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, what we're going to see to some extent. Okay, so this is a very important day in history, and we're going to look at the chart real quick.
Mm.
Um, Notice beautiful pictures of Jackie Onassis, which would go down in history. Keep in mind they're black and white pictures, many, many black and white pictures. And so interesting, it was cold. It's always cold on Inauguration Day. I think it was George Washington that picked the day. Now, George Washington was a Pisces. So he was all into the woo woo and wanted to make sure that the time was correct. I think he did a pretty good job, all in all. But interesting, obviously, any inauguration is probably going to be cold in Washington, D.C., which represents Capricorn, the government, stability. And can be cold sometimes. Sometimes people with a lot of Capricorn, they prefer to go to the lakes where there are lots of wood and wooded area. Capricorn
Yeah.
is wood. It's stable,
Yeah.
and it's good for good for the, what do you call it, foundation.
Foundation.
And also, let's see, Saturn rules Capricorn, so it represents stone too. So
Mm.
anyway, this is the day that John F. Kennedy was taking the office. And do you know who was featured there on this day? It was Robert Frost, which
Oh,
would be a representation of cold.
right.
So Saturn is going to be playing a part with his presidency.
Yeah.
Now, this is John F. Kennedy's job chart. Okay. And they all pretty much are the same ascendant. It's in Taurus. So Venus is going to be the chart ruler here. But the problem is we've got Black Moon Lilith at the bottom of the chart.
Mm.
And this is a very, very nefarious energy. And it's opposing the sun, which represents John F. Kennedy.
Right.
And so something in the house, in the home, brings him down. This is a domestic thing, which would be Cancer. And so you can see too that the sun is 0 degrees Aquarius. So what were they thinking about then? I believe it was that year. There was actually a lot of fear
Yeah.
about not being able to get to the moon before the Russians.
Right.
Like, it's like, can you
Yes.
imagine having that conversation? Like, oh, did
Yeah.
did you hear anything? Did you hear the news? Did we get to the moon yet?
Yeah.
Like having a fear about that. So there's always going to be some kind of fear about something. And
Yeah.
so with Aquarius, it's a lot of space
Yeah.
types of themes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing that you can see now, that if you get 10 astrologers in a room, they're going to see different things.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to show you what I saw. But Uranus is to shock, and it's right pretty much on that Regulus degree, which means a king falls.
Mm.
And he falls, and look at Chiron up at the top there, shocking wounds. So this is, this is in the Leo area, keeping that in mind. So lots of Leo types of, he was out in the sun, he was in a convertible.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, here's a third one, Mars, which can mean a weapon. Mars is in Cancer now, too.
Oh.
So, not to say that this is an assassination chart, and so is
Right.
President Trump's, but interesting how Mars is in Cancer and how Mars is making it's pretty strong. There is something that is nefarious. There's spies with Neptune right here, and it's a secret. It's a big, big, big secret. And so Mars is in the 12th house of the secret enemies, as well as the 7th house of the open enemies, and can also be a partner. Okay. So take what you
Ooh.
want from that. And one more thing with Venus and the moon. What's that? It's a famous woman. The moon means fame. Next to Venus is famous woman. She is being photographed.
Yeah.
And lots of video too. And that video is black and white. There's Saturn right there. So keeping in mind that, Saturn is conjunct the sun, and it's slowing it down, and there's shocks, and the chart is brought down, let's face it. So there she is. And one last thing, John F. Kennedy died at Parkland Health Hospital. Isn't that crazy? So much Leo, the king falls. Ugh. Here is the solar return chart for the inauguration chart. So this was January 2020, January 1962. Okay. Yeah. So you're going to go all the way around, and where that arrow is, that is the month in which the assassination occurred. And so there he is up there. So what would you do? You look at Mercury here. Mercury, look at all that shock. That is the complete shock. And the moon is That is the public. The public is just in absolute shock. And one other thing, too, obviously, the T square, where the MC is, that's the career. The career
Yeah.
completely stops. And Mars opposing Moon is death. So
Mhm.
everybody's sad about a death. So that's the worst type of chart. Okay. Here's Nixon, and this is his inauguration chart. He's way up there. He's also 0 degrees, continuing along the interest in space and all of
Mm,
that. Um, and there's Venus, and that is the chart ruler. So you want to look at the chart ruler. This is the job itself. The sun is the president,
mm,
and the job itself is squaring part of fortune. Always good to look at whether the job's going to go well or not. And if you have part of fortune in there, that is success.
yeah.
Good, great success.
Yeah.
Doesn't look so good for Nixon, who obviously had to resign and in scandal. The
Mm,
sun up here in Aquarius is, what is it doing? It's squaring Saturn. So
mhm.
the presidency stops. And the sixth house, keeping in mind when you're looking at a job chart, the sixth house, it's your coworkers. So
Yeah.
your coworkers are putting a stop to what
Right.
you're doing. So this is very important. The sixth house and the sixth house lord. The sixth house lord. Let's see. Sixth house lord is Mercury up here, and it's in a T square. So they're fighting him like crazy. And this is the solar return for the inauguration. Mars is up here in the eighth house. I mean, this is another T square, which means a quitting or a firing of some sort. Is
Right.
whatever it is, it's shocking,
Yeah.
and it goes away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So here is President Trump's. God, it's so weird saying that. President Trump's chart for today.
Today.
There he is up there with Pluto. Now, Pluto, what does Pluto represent? Well, people are calling him I saw this morning. AOC was saying, I'm not going to support a rapist. So the word rapist is coming into the
Ooh.
conversation here, which is, Pluto. But if
Yeah.
you put Pluto with the sun together, this is incredible heat, incredible power. And
Yeah.
on this day, he becomes obviously trying to, the moon here, very, very famous. There's also people who in the public who really, really like him.
Mm.
And keeping in mind, with Pluto trining the moon, that means a lot of famous people are going to be his coworkers. So
Right.
they're brought in those Bezos and those people who are just going to get
Yeah.
jobs left and right and be very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to look at the sixth house, which is um, it's the job. It's the
The job.
job and it's the coworkers. So we want to look and see where Mercury is. Mercury's up here in the ninth house, and it's conjunct part of fortune. So that could be good. It could show that already the coworkers are very successful. So that
Right.
could show a profile there. But we've got a T square here. And it looks as if, I don't know, this could be bad politicians
Mm.
where they are behind him and they are doing something. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not a Trump fan, but it
Yeah.
looks like he could have some nefarious stuff behind him
Yeah.
that he has to look out for. So my question to you is, I'm looking at this 22 degrees right on, it's Black Moon Lilith here. This is as nasty as you can get. It's in the ninth house of courts. It's
Mm.
also in, oh, you know what? Could this still be something about his court issues? Could there still be something lingering there? Maybe I
Mm.
can ask you that.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, that is interesting. The High Priestess. That's something
Yeah.
that's secret. Yeah, that's a secret. That's women keeping secrets. Mm. A strength card. That's overcoming some kind of secret, with this isn't overcoming. This is perseverance, pushing through. And I am not saying where my stance is on Trump specifically as a person. This is just what I see. There is power and overcoming something that is perhaps not yet known. What will come forward, I don't know. Let me
Okay.
see what it's about. Oh, interesting. Money and marriage? This is actually, that's typically a divorce. This is like, that's a divorce.
Hmm.
Or it's an upset in the religious space too. I don't know if religion factors into the chart, but this is also an upset in religion, conversations around religion and money.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it could be that he is cutting something off. So divorce could be a split of something.
Mhm,
Um, that could be the Republican Party. I mean, the Republican Party is going to be tested here. So
mhm.
that could be his coworkers, but uh,
This
they're
this is coworkers too. This is that three pentacles we get a lot is about a team, people working together. But in the reverse, it's a fracture of a team. It's a fracture, a breakdown of collaboration or ability to work together in partnership
Mhm,
when it's in
mhm.
reverse.
Interesting. You know what I think is so interesting with when I do programming that has to do with Leos? Leo means sun, S-O-N, so you're gonna see a lot of interest in having a son in general, and there's always 2 suns, it seems like,
This just came up on the bottom of the deck when you said that word.
So
Sun card. Yeah.
And so it's so interesting that when I have like I had a strength reading the other day or it was like a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and there were people whose last name ended in SON that signed up. And now of course we have Gibson here, Thorson. So we're gonna have the Leos coming in. They're interested in what
Yeah.
we're saying about Leo. So I wonder if they
Mm,
have a lot of hair or if they're blonde, but
yeah.
so interesting. Toy, you've got chills. I know, I know. And BML at 22, right? 22, the kill or be killed degree. So, could there, and this tells me something, is there going to be a bad politician that is killed?
Mm. Yeah, interesting. I have a new um, little tool that I use with the cards where you shuffle your deck and you find the death card and you identify the two cards behind and in front, and that will tell you the answer to the question of what to pursue or what to be relieved of and what to drop or what to let go of. It's
Okay.
an interesting exercise I do sometimes. Maybe we'll do it later.
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah.
So do you want to answer the one whether a bad
Yes.
politician will be killed?
Let's see. Hmm. Wow. Perhaps it's a yes. That was the first card. This Ace of Pentacles is a yes card. Within a year, this is within 1 year, timing wise. Scorpio timing, perhaps fall before the year is over, but it might be avoided. It might be avoided.
Okay.
Mm.
Did you just randomly pick that death card?
Yeah, it came out as the second card.
That is so weird.
Asking that question, right?
Okay, so maybe
Oh,
the
religion again.
okay, interesting.
I,
You you know, funny how you say that, and I think back to JFK and how back then, he was Catholic and everybody was talking about religion. They were
yeah.
talking about the Vatican. I almost think the press was kind of trying to bait him into saying things about Catholicism because in some of those interviews they were like, "Do you think this warrants talking to the Vatican?" And they want him to say yes, and he was like, "No." So there was a lot of conversation about religion back then.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that would. Maybe that's a clue of some sort. I
Yeah.
don't know. Religion. Now, let's see, could be insurance too with Neptune coming in. Insurance is
Mhm.
gonna be a big one. We're gonna see a lot of Neptune stuff.
Mm.
Um, Jan, you said might be a past wife revealing something, of a politician. That wouldn't be hard to believe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, immigration too. Immigration is such a huge one now. Back in the JFK days, they had a time of economic prosperity when he took the oath. So Not the case this time, completely different, I think. I mean, economically prosperous for the rich, yes. So,
Yeah.
and notice we're seeing a lot of wealthy, wealthy people on the dais. So, what does that mean for the people? We're going to have to look at that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Mm.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that Paul Mango died yesterday, Trump's previous vaccine advisor. Um, Yes, people were afraid a Catholic would adhere to papal laws, not American laws exactly. So, yeah, don't know about killing. Maybe it does look like pretty nasty, nasty energy with the group of bad politicians, and no doubt we don't know it, but I think we're getting rid of when we get rid of good, but we also get rid of bad too. So I think there are some people who are on the way out, and they're pretty mad about it. Um, Gibson says Catholic Church becomes even more unstable, maybe something with the Pope. Yeah. We're seeing, I
Yeah.
did see something. There's been a couple of signs about the Pope, been seeing him pop up sometimes on
Yeah.
Instagram. So could maybe be some
Yeah.
kind of a clue. All right. Now, this is what we're looking at to those who just joined us. And if you just joined us, please hit the like button. It really helps us out. And thank you to all subscribers and, of course, the valedictorians who make these shows possible. And if you're interested in a reading with Amber, you can go to the description box. And you, Amber, are found on YouTube. What is your handle there?
Taurus Moon Tarot 761.
761. Okay,
Yes.
great. What did you think about the whole TikTok? I mean, I know you're on TikTok. You do really well on TikTok. What were your feelings about it?
It's one of those things I didn't believe it till I see it, you know. And then my daughter lost her mind, her 14-year-old mind, when it went down that very
Mhm.
brief period. And then she was very elated when it came back. You know, I honestly just sort of looked forward to saying, okay, where do I shift my energy and my focus to? Is it to another platform? Is it, you know, what
Exactly.
can you do? Yeah.
Exactly. And you're diversified a little bit, but it is a little bit scary because
Yeah.
Mercury is in Capricorn right now, and this is what your mindset is. And Capricorn can mean despair and sadness. Now, Mercury is starting to move towards Pluto, which means a lot of sadness, a lot of fear. So we
Yeah.
have to keep that in mind. We're going to be really happy when Mercury moves on. It's a fast moving planet, so just hang
Mhm.
tight for the next. There's a lot of fear mongering, and it's on both sides of the aisle. So we have to be really grounded and
Yeah.
enlightened in times like these.
Yeah.
So, Toy, you said you deleted yours months ago because I thought it was
Mhm.
going to disappear. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie's coming on, okay.
Mhm.
Another Leo.
Yes.
And also we're hearing a lot did you mention, it was Taylor Swift? So we're seeing Taylor Swift win again, it's
Yeah.
just like those Leos, they're doing so great, but just make sure you don't get too close to the fire. Yes, now this is part of the fear. He's supposed to have, North Carolina rated illegals today, isn't he? There's a lot of rumors.
Mhm.
He's kind of, I think, in the mud a little bit about that because his very wealthy advisors say, look, we need those immigrants because they work on our apps and we
Yeah.
can't get rid of them. That's a whole other issue. I mean, I've worked in tech companies, and there there had been abuse on site where these poor workers, you know, they could be shipped back to their home unless they take the abuse of their upper management. So there are a lot of people who are stuck here
Yeah.
in that capacity. There are different flavors, I think, of the immigrations. Of course,
Yeah.
immigration of people who are trying to come in and escape a terrible government
Yeah.
are completely displaced.
Yeah.
And so now President Trump is supposed to have this plan. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what that is.
Yeah.
And Jan, you said Pope, anti-populist, common people's agenda, like Starmer and King, all three use the same quote, beware the snake oil charm. Hmm.
Mm.
That's interesting. Yeah. Snake oil. Oil. A lot of
Yeah.
oil. We're talking
That's,
about Diddy too.
yeah.
So
That's right.
was that an omen or what? There's
That
so much
was.
oil. All
Yeah.
right. So let me get back to this. And here is what I'm going to ask you about. And what is in this inauguration chart is somebody here, Mars retrograde in Cancer. It is opposing the sun. This could be dangerous. And this could come in 3 months, 3 weeks.
Mm.
But this is a person who is at odds with the president and is, uh, I mean, Mars is a weapon.
Mm.
So my question to you is, what is this? What's this person? It almost seems like the person doesn't like the bad politicians either. Doesn't like any of them. But coming in and it looks like a potential, could it be an attack of some sort?
The card that comes out is this Ten of Swords. That very much could be an attack. It could be something that is, again, behind someone's back that they can't see. I feel like there's this unknown. And is it a woman? I don't know if you see a woman. This is Sagittarius. Um,
That's crazy, a woman. Oh,
or two people,
okay.
Gemini. Or is it two attacks? Maybe two.
Yeah, it could be too. Yeah, the problem with Mars opposing Pluto is Pluto's lots and lots. It's too much. So it could be too many people trying to get at him. And that's the problem. Being out in the open, being in the spotlight, you are also a target.
Mhm.
This certainly would seem as if someone is trying to get to the president somehow in a very, yeah, twin attacks. Exactly. We saw that last year. We saw the
Yeah,
twin attacks. The charts and the cards were showing us that.
yeah,
If some of you have seen our last shows, and yeah, Kamala. Oh, thank you, Moondust. That's so nice. Yes, I really like Amber's sweater. I wish I had thought about red, white, and blue. I wasn't thinking. You're representing. At least I got blue. I got blue.
yeah,
So, yeah, interesting about the potential. There is harm. I mean, this is Mars and Cancer, not a really great placement. Mars is weak. That's the good part. Like if I were
yeah,
President Trump and I'm looking at this, I would be like, look, they're weak. But it can also mean that somebody is overly emotional. And this could be potentially somebody whose life was changed, kind of like a Luigi type, you know?
yeah. This one too is the last card, and it just is interesting. It's a wounded warrior. It's someone who's sort of been really beat down. And look at the bandage on his head. It's like no, wound is fatal, but it's, yeah, perseverance too is a big theme for that card.
Wow. I kind of feel like I love those cards, by the way.
Yeah,
Feel like you got that card when we're right before Luigi was caught.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
I kinda remember that card, that's crazy.
yeah,
Bruiser Bites, by the way, welcome. Yeah, I know, so many. Hillary, Kamala, AOC. I don't know, I think they like their careers. I think, they're not gonna resort to violence, but I know
mhm,
Gibson, JFK had many hidden enemies. And he was very that's the thing about Leo. Leos are very confident, so, JFK is like, "Yeah, let's get in the car," "Who is going to bother me today on this
yeah.
beautiful day?" Um, so let me see here. All right. So this is, I don't know what happened here. Um, okay. This is the solar return chart. So if you want to look at your own solar return chart and get your own predictions, go to AstroSeek, then put in all your birth information, click on the solar return year for your last birthday, and then you're going to click solar only. You don't want any planets on the outside. Well, this is the inauguration chart. And this is next year. Okay, so this is going to start, yeah, this starts in January. And the sun is up here in Gemini at 22 degrees.
Mm,
And there is a square here. Now, it is not exactly a square to Saturn, but it shows delay
mm,
because of, it's not exact. But let's see, Jupiter is up there and it is squaring Saturn. So it looks like there is a death in front of him. Jupiter is the fourth house, the home.
Hmm.
Um, who is that person?
What do you make of the South Node right there on the ascendant?
It's despair. It's
Hmm.
despair of something.
Mhm. Yeah.
When it's in a square, when you're seeing a red line to South Node, it is a sadness of the job in and of itself. But let's look at the sixth house of coworkers.
Mm.
Sixth house of coworkers is Uranus. It's in the ninth house. Whoa. Wow. This is Mars squaring Uranus. This is something that's explosive.
Explosive.
Sixth house is also in Aquarius, showing the tech
Tech.
people.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So tech people are pissed about something. Maybe they're being reined in. They're not agreeing on something. Can you tell me anything about the presidency, which would be this chart,
Mm.
and the tech community?
Mm. Oh, interesting. Wow. So another Gemini card, so more than one. And this to me is like money overseas. This is like foreign shores. This is going across the water, far away, and the money is reaped there. So there might be some kind of money's coming from far away, or the tech stuff is going out of the country. It's going away
Yeah,
somewhere
maybe.
else.
Yeah, they're farming out jobs or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
leaving for more money.
with the Aquarius, though, in the sixth house of coworkers for the inauguration chart, which would be a job chart, it would show an interruption in either the job, or it would show that, and it could be and or the coworkers are going to quit.
Yeah.
So we might be seeing some people who are quitting their jobs. And
Mhm.
my question to you is, are the Republicans going to quit? Are some of the Republicans going to quit between now and I'd say the next 2 years?
Hmm. That Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is like go find your luck somewhere else. There's this is an Aquarius card, by the way. So this is Uranus also, and this is going somewhere else where they're favored. They have more favor. They're
Okay.
going somewhere else. They feel more prosperous or
Yeah.
lucky.
It is such an art form to read these cards, because sometimes you have to know that a reverse card is not a no card necessarily.
Right.
It
Yeah.
it, it depends on the card.
Yeah. And the clarifying card is the Magician. This is like go where you have all the things you need. This is, yeah. I could see that there could be an exit, especially with that Six of Swords.
And that's your Prince William card.
It is.
They're getting a job with Prince William. Oh my god. And by the way, anybody just joining us and don't know about our shows, you can come on Fridays and see us. We talk about the royal family as well as the UK. And Jan, you said Trump threatens tariffs on imports from Chiba. Might that upset the tech giants? China. China.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's Chiba? Computer components made in China. Okay. Ah, yes. I
Mhm.
was watching something. It was like a story. Somebody on some podcast was saying that they lived in Ireland and they were exporting from Ireland some of their alcohol. Gosh, I don't remember what kind it was, but it, the tariffs were activated so fast that their shipment between Ireland and New York, they were given an immediate notification that they had to pay $80,000 if they wanted that shipment to reach New York.
Wow.
So the tariffs can be very shocking to people
Yes.
all around the world, and just seems like the little guy many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Toya wearing an oversized sweat shirt with grumpy Care Bear. Do they still? That must be an old sweatshirt. I know I'm not a morning person until coffee, but then I saw y'all going live, so I'm just chilling now. I know we're surprised we're on as well. Elf, as you said, is there a timeline to all of this? The chart that I am looking at, or was just looking at, was the solar return for the inaugural chart. So that's kind of like, you're born and then you're what, 2 years old? And that
Yeah.
would be the second year.
Yeah.
It's also the second year of your quote unquote job. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're seeing some stuff here, and weird how this is the sun is in Gemini. So we're going to be seeing something about the twins again.
Yeah.
So don't know what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And let me just share this again. Okay. I can't remember what else I had. Yeah, so that's June. Oh, okay. So this would be like the timing. Good question, because that's what I was just getting into, Elphaz. And
Mhm.
that's the timing. This would be, so your solar return chart, you would start. Oh, okay. What is this? He's June. No, you know what? This is not the inaugural solar return. This is Trump's solar return for next year, I think.
Oh,
So this is him. And he's the sun, and he's also Mercury. So Mercury is over here. The His solar return chart in general does not look terrible.
yeah.
Looks like he's got a plan because of that
Yeah.
trine to Black Moon Lilith. It's all about money, of course, in that
Yeah.
second house. But it does look like somebody stops him. Oh, this has got serious main character energy. We've got some villain energy in here.
Yeah.
And let's see. So this would be June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So December of 2025 is going to be a serious time. That's when the seventh house kicks in. And we also want to see when the sun kicks in, which would be May of 20,
6.
2026. Yeah, June. Right.
Yes.
So there's some difficult times for him. It doesn't look great to me. It looks very dangerous. So he has to have more security than the average person. Now we
Yeah.
kind of said that back in, when he took office in 2016. It's like,
Yeah.
but I think everyone was so distracted with COVID and all the terrible issues that, you know, nobody really talked about it too much, but he definitely has to take every precaution
Options.
while he's doing
Yeah.
the Lord's work. I know, Gemini everywhere.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, yeah,
Someone
and
in the chat mentioned that Carrie Underwood was singing and the music wasn't working,
oh,
which
you're
is so
kidding me.
interesting. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but someone mentioned that in the chat, and I thought, oh, what does that look like in a chart where there's
Oh,
no music for her to
yeah,
sing
we'll
to?
have to look.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear that?
Maggio, Italiano.
Yes.
Mm,
Well, Gemini is Italian, so
that's
we've got
right.
the twins in here. There's Biden. Oh,
Biden.
I had some, you know, thoughts about Biden. I'll tell you in a sec.
Mhm.
Um,
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
I think he did last time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
Good
remain
one.
at your seats while the president and official party depart the platform.
You, Lewis. A lot of happy people today. A lot of happy people. A lot of shocked people. How's my audio? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God, there's the Apple CEO. Very famous people here.
Yes. That bright green dress. Who is that?
Oh,
Melania reminds me of Hepburn.
yes. Crazy. There's Biden. Now, yeah, I know she's wearing a hat. I'm not sure. Are you supposed to wear a hat inside? I guess if you're the first lady, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Um, Now, one thing I noticed because of Neptunian, Neptune means to sleep. It's also to drink,
Mm.
and nothing
And
against
the second Trump administration is now an hour old, and those were the opening notes. You can see the
nothing against
Yeah.
Biden, but notice that when he was speaking, it was slurry. It
Yeah.
almost sounded like he was very tired. Remember how Trump would call him Sleepy Joe? So
Yeah.
there was that Neptunian thing where it was kind of it's overtaking that energy, Biden's
Mm.
energy to kind of come off like that. So
Yeah.
it is it's definitely Neptunian. So they're all those important people. Good for them. Um, and I noticed that Eric Trump's wife, Laura, and Tiffany Trump
Yeah.
were both twinning.
Ah.
So they were right next to each other. They're the twins. And then you've
Yeah.
got, of course, the twin of Ivanka Trump, which is also Tiffany. So
Yeah.
Ivanka decided to wear her hair up, which I think
Yeah.
looks very nice.
Yeah.
But she's out of there apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Now let me go back to my chart. And Lewis mentioned Jupiter in the 10th. This can be very good normally for, can you see it?
Yeah.
For a job chart. Jupiter in the 10th means expansion. You're able to, move things along. Everything looks bigger.
Yeah.
Not that we want the government to look bigger, but this is his chart. This is Trump's chart.
Right.
But it definitely looks like there is an abrupt stop there with Saturn and Neptune. I'm not sure what that is.
Mhm.
Neptune represents the employment chart. Whoa, what? Okay, so if this is 2005, 2006. So let's talk about 2006. Does Donald Trump stop work for some reason
Hmm.
in 2006?
26?
2026. What
I
year am I
was
in?
like, I have to remember what was happening in 2006. Like,
I think he was wasn't he starring in Home Alone, or was that the 80s? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Let's see. Stopping work. No, maybe just working differently. I like the 3 pentacles in the upright. That is working. That is working with
Okay.
others.
Well, there's definitely something is delaying him. So that's what I want to know. What? Oh,
There's a blockage.
okay.
And the moon in reverse. This is interesting. This is like less visible. Something is less visible,
Yeah.
or you don't see something.
Sometimes it's depression too. Sometimes it's like, you
Yeah.
thought you wanted to do something and you're being held back somehow. But I definitely think now here's a plus for the Donald Trump, the inauguration chart. Uranus is in that first house. And let me go back to that real quick and show you. And keep in mind that when we're talking about what's around you at the time of, in this case, the inauguration, we've got Uranus here, and that is the tech people. Interesting to see that it's retrograde. So don't know what that means. Maybe, they're kind of having to kiss the ring and they don't want to, or maybe they're having some problems right now for whatever reason, but they are bolstered by this trine here to part of fortune and the sun. Like they get along with the president very, very well. And what does this mean for this job chart? Well, it's going to be seen as a tech presidency, something about tech, something about change, something about, what could that be? Space. So lots of space rockets. We're seeing lots of satellites, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And a sextile to Mars. So men who think fast, tech
Yeah.
guys. So
Or
it does.
military tech with numbers.
Good one. Yes,
Maybe.
military tech.
Yeah.
So it does seem as if the power of the US is going to increase. It seems as if we will be somehow changing in the sense of the government itself. There are going to be a lot of changes, but it seems like it's swifter now. We're
Yeah.
pushing forward. Maybe it is now everybody's going to vote on their phone. It's a digital presidency. That's what
Yeah.
I would see. But
Yeah.
also keeping in mind it's in it's in Taurus, which is money. So this is we're going to possibly become a richer country,
Mm.
even though I don't know, aren't we rich enough? But
Yeah.
well, no, we aren't because the people are not rich, but certainly it looks as if the president and the government is going to somehow make money fast.
Yeah.
Now, Taurus is also food. It's
Mm.
banking. So it could be changing the way we bank.
Mhm.
Um, it is gardens. So we're going to be changing the White House garden again. uh, but yeah, here's the other thing. It looks as if this Mars in Cancer, this is somebody who wants into this is the White House here, wants
Right.
into that White House and is going through Uranus somehow. So this could be some kind of, maybe a digital blip, coming in to get access to do something. And then maybe one of them kind of throws some flies in the ointment.
Yeah.
I do not know. And then, yeah, I think that's all I've got. So it was
I have a
interesting.
question about Uranus too,
Yes.
because I've heard this before and I've seen it play out, but I can't remember what the combination was. Uranus, where you see glass breaking.
Yeah. That's usually Uranus in some kind of, usually in my case, like when I look at it, I look for the squares and the oppositions with Neptune because Neptune is glass. Neptune
That's
is
my
yes.
yes.
So Neptune is the mirror. Neptune's up here. Neptune poorly aspected means a narcissist and
Mm.
can also mean alcoholics.
Yeah.
So they're in the sixth house of coworkers. You can see that his coworkers, I don't know who they are. They're politicians.
Yeah.
Could be on either side of the aisle,
Yeah.
but they're narcissists. They might be drunks. They talk too slow, or
There is that one confirmation that I don't know who it is, someone that he's appointed or nominated for a role. I don't know the role, I don't pay enough attention, but that he's been accused of being a drunk or being an alcoholic and having a drinking problem.
okay,
I can't think of who it is, his
yeah,
name.
we're gonna
This
see
guy I
that.
know. Yeah, but there were headlines
Oh,
about
yes, that's right, he was drinking on the job. He
Yes,
was
yes,
trying to get, nominated or whatever.
yeah,
Who was that? You guys know who that is.
they might know the name. I just
Yeah,
knew
digital.
that was a headline really interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know, Sweetly Morbid Bear, welcome.
Mm.
And, Jen, you said, "I pulled cards on Trump, Empress, and Strength in reverse. Make of those what you may, but I have a good theory." Well, Jen, we
Mm,
wanna hear it.
yeah.
Um, and let's see. Yeah, that's crazy about the 2 Bibles, but my question is, did they always have 2 Bibles? I wonder if we can go back
Oh,
to that picture of JFK. What did JFK do?
yeah.
So crazy that he died at Parkland Hospital.
Parkland.
Um,
Mhm. And he was driving through that town square. The grassy knoll became a theme.
yeah. It certainly looks like a stack of Bibles, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if there were 2. We'll have to do some deep research in our free time on that one.
And and you said the inauguration charts are always rising Taurus.
I know.
Is
I
that
know. Yeah.
always the case? That's so fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I know.
Wow.
The sun's always gonna be either, Capricorn or Aquarius.
Right.
And so interesting how the sun is at 29 degrees for Trump, the anaretic degree in Capricorn. Now 29 can mean fame, can mean a lot of fame, but it can also mean that it's normally, if it was by itself, it would mean kind of like not it's like a retrograde. That I attribute it like a retrograde, like not exactly all there, but then next to Pluto, Pluto is power. And so, and gosh, and transformation too. Let me tell you what, and this could be very good as long as we don't transform it into, you know, something extreme, which is everybody's fear right now.
Yeah.
But it will, whether we like it or not, this government will be transformed with that Pluto up at the top, the transformation. Wouldn't it be typical, with Pluto, that we would see it in a chart for Donald Trump, because Pluto also represents real estate.
Right.
So he's been talking about Greenland and wanting to own Canada. He wants to expand. So we're going to see that Pluto really coming in. That is okay. Wait a minute. Digital real estate could be Uranus trining. Let me see here. Okay, so here is what's that?
Natalie, pop the name in the chat. That's the name. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, Natalie. Yes, Hegseth, that's right. His mother spoke out against him as well. Oh God, that's the worst. Let's see, Jan, you said 2 Bibles. No, only second time 2 Bibles. Of course it would be the second time. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sweetly Morbid Bear. And okay, yeah. Now, what we're looking at is today's chart. It is Donald Trump's job chart. So we can read the horoscope of his job just like you could for any of your jobs. If you're in your 5th year of your job, well, you're going to look at 5 years into, you're going to look at your 5th year solar return. So you can look at the horoscope of each year of your job. But looking at Pluto way at the top, this could be digital currency, like you guys have said, but it can also be real estate, because we've got Pluto up at the top here. And there it is. This is, but these people are, they're like, it's a no. T-score is always going to be a no. You're not doing it. So it's not exact, though. It does look like he will be able to do something very, very famous, like super, super famous. And somebody's helping him here. It looks like it could be a diplomat, could be a famous diplomat. South Node. Well, when it's in good aspect, it can be somebody who's spiritual or wants to get rid of something. So my question to you is, will the U.S. be expanded under the presidency of Donald Trump?
Let's see. Let's see what this is. It just flew out. No.
Okay.
It's a no card. And this is actually has to do with career and job and things you're very passionate about. And it's fire energy, but it's womp womp. When it's in the reverse, it's a no.
Okay. Well, we won't become the most powerful in the entire world. I'd like to take over Russia. I mean, it's beautiful in the summer. And Trudeau not keen. But did just resign. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a sad diplomat in here, which is South Node, to be sad. But it's a sad diplomat that wants to help Trump. So my question is, who is this sad diplomat?
And I wondered about Pluto in Aquarius up there at the top. When you start talking about real estate, thinking tech real estate, smart homes, something else around that. Who is
exactly
it? Well, interesting. This is this politician, if there's someone sad, it's someone he's known for a really long time, or that knows him from a very long time ago. And they could be someone quite old. It's interesting, like so old. Like it's
the Pope.
It's very old. But this is a spiritual leader.
He's gonna be
Um,
besties with the Pope.
maybe,
Maybe, maybe.
maybe.
Or, who else is spiritual? Scientology president.
Mm,
That's more of a cult.
mm,
I shouldn't say that. I didn't
yeah.
mean it. Let me see. What else was I gonna say? Spiritual leader. Yeah, there's somebody that's helping him for sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. Look at that. That the moon is to help.
Hmm.
Libra is a diplomat. It can be somebody in law. It can be, could be even a female because the moon is can be female. But this is someone who is kind of like sad, who's getting power
Yeah.
from Trump. Oh,
Yeah.
and back to the Pluto and your point about the real estate. Um, Keeping in mind, the real estate industry is really going to change because they're going to start using not Bitcoin, but um, crypto in order to file all of their paperwork for real estate. They're not
Oh,
going through the courthouse, or at least that's the goal
yeah.
is to not go through, um, the courthouse. So this is going to be digital real estate in that respect. Where what is it called, you guys? It's not Bitcoin. It is. When you're registering everything, you're going to register the real estate. So yeah, I know. I was thinking that too, Elfas.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I forget. I forget which state Hegseth represented. I've got to start paying more attention. Um, yeah, I know. Elfas, I wonder how Canadians feel becoming part of the U.S. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff coming out of Canada right now about the healthcare. So, well,
yeah.
let's look at the healthcare for a second, and that would be Neptune. Let's see where we're going to be. That was a big thing for was it JFK? No, it was either Truman or J. I mean, for all presidencies, they're all talking about insurance.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's see here. Insurance is it's Pisces. Um, it looks like it looks like there could be something. Oh, I don't know if I like Pisces being being successful because that could mean that the insurance companies are successful. But we want to look at Neptune and the moon. Whoa, look at this. Neptune is insurance,
Yeah.
and this is the public. So this is going to continue to be a problem. It looks like the government is going to try to sort it out because of
Yeah.
that, the blue lines showing
Yeah.
the Thales, pointed Thales. So it's like it looks like Trump wants to be the hero with the insurance companies and the public. I don't know how that's gonna work out.
Yeah.
I did something else too. I put another chart in here. I don't know where it is, but it is for Truman. Maybe I'll do that for the next show.
Yeah.
But you can see with Truman's second inauguration chart, it's his second term. He didn't have such a great term, Truman, and he had McCarthy in there. And did I put it in here? Let me just hang on one second.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it in here. All right.
No from the Canadian to that question. I was presuming that might be the sentiment. No.
Okay, let's see here. It wasn't this one. I might have to wait till the next time.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting that, let's see, is it this one? Not that one. That Mars would be up in the 10th house. And Mars is red. And Mars represented the Red Scare in that term. So, yeah, I don't see it. I guess it disappeared. But, yeah, you could see a lot in that 10th house. Of the inauguration chart. What's going to be happening in the government? What's going to be happening? Who's going to be in there? We don't necessarily want a lot of people in there like malefics. And we got Pluto in there. Pluto is trash. So will Donald Trump see the trash, and what will he do with it? Will
Yeah.
he recycle or will he throw it out? Natalie, you're like, Canada probably wants to be left alone. No, from the Canadian. Hello, Inga. So nice to see you. Dalai Lama. Yes. Good one. Oh, God. Well, thank you guys so much. And Amber, as always, thank you for your time. We really enjoyed, your observations.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I'm just ready to enjoy my day off, and I hope everyone does the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Have
And
some tea.
I'm going to have more coffee. It's a coffee day for me.
Hey, at least we're not
Yeah.
putting in Baileys or anything, at least
No.
not right now. So I think
Yeah.
at the bottom line is there's some hopeful things, there's some good things that are going to be coming in. We've got the timestamp of 1776. It's always going to be okay. We're not going as long as they don't overthrow the government and start a new timestamp.
Yeah.
We've got hope, and we're
Yes.
coming out of Sati Sati. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.
Thanks so much.